So, Mr. Arnold, tell us about your first company startup in Texarkana, USA.
I had gone to work for Conoco out of the finishing school at Lamar and got intrigued with the oil business. And in 1964, there was a small distributorship that, in Texarkana Conoco distributorship, that the distributor was wanting to sell. And I had $3,000 and borrowed $3,000 and bought that out in '64. So we started a company at that time. So it's 50 years, unbelievable today. And so there have been many generations of what the business is about, still continues today. And evolved into the FBO business is a big part of our business now. And the distribution, we sell and distribute fuel in 48 states, I guess. And Greg pretty much runs that, tends to that. And then we have a private equity company that we operate out of Dallas, which is a family private equity business, Anita and me. And so we have about, I think there's maybe 60 people left in Texarkana with the FBO there, General Aviation, and the legal and administrative services, accounting, are all still done out there, but you can do anywhere with technology the way that it is today. And so we have a sales office here and overlooks the FBO operation and the private equity. And so that's a short version of being in and out from the oil business to the banking business and to where we are today.
What's your first memory of working with the Chamber of Commerce?
About 25 guys showed up in my office and says, "You're it." And they were the leaders in the town. I said, "Now, it's time for you to do your part." And I think this was 1980 or 81. And it was hard to say no to that. Many of those guys, many of them were customers. All of them were friends. And so it was an enjoyable experience. Swede Lee, I think it was his first year to take over the chamber. So there was a lot of excitement about changes that needed to be made. And I got to be a part of that group, and it was a very rewarding time. And the community was pretty excited, really. The changed the way the chamber was run, got more engaged politically. I think everybody recognized the importance of keeping the politics. That state line can be wonderful when everybody makes it work, but it can undo itself in 24 hours, and it always will be. You haul nitroglycerin with it, but if you can keep it together, you get a lot of energy because you've got 4 senators and 2 congressmen, and you got all sorts of mayors and elected politicians that are there, from the county judges on both sides that are deeply engaged in the community. There's always, and it always will be, Texas is a severance tax state that's been wealthy for a long, long time, and more wealthy now than it was even then in Arkansas. The disparity between teacher salaries and police, firemen, all of those dynamics are there, and there's the central agency for keeping all of that in place is the chamber, pure and simple. And that's what the people that came to see me were the people that heads of the banks, people involved in corporate tire, all of the people that were involved. And it was so important for them to keep stability in the community. And so the press got engaged with us. We made sure that there was representation from both sides of the state line. The banks all had representation. And it was the only bipartisan thing that you had that could really hold it all together. And so most of the issues would be aired at the chamber. And I'm not saying it's still not going on, but I'm saying it was that way. It was that way then. And so you met quietly. You didn't air your differences in the press. So no egos got out there. No name calling got out there. You just sat down and worked out as family. And as gentlemen and ladies, you worked out these issues without airing them in the press and getting into the debate, which just stirs everyone up and starts to set things back. And but it was fun to do. There was a need for it at the time. We were involved in the income tax exemption. That was a big item during that time. We had, as I recall, 250 doctors in Texarkana, only 5 of them lived on the Arkansas side of town because of this constant fear of the state income tax. So it was a big brain shift of lawyers, doctors, professional leaders that wouldn't come to Arkansas. So we were able to get that done through Bill Clinton, Steve Clark. We got a lot of exemptions from them. And finally, legally, I don't remember when, but legally it was, weren't sure would be legal. We had the exemptions as long as the district attorneys and the U.S. Attorney General and the governor embraced it. So we're deeply involved politically on the Arkansas side. And the chamber became deeply involved with the governors and the senators, and that helped immensely in helping to get through some of those years. And the bond grew. I think it slipped some from what I can read. I'm not nearly as involved as I used to be. But it'll be there. It was there, what's that, 35 years ago? Holy moly. It was there 35 years ago, and it'll be there 35 years from now. So it's just one of those things, and I commend you all for what you're doing to build that.
There's going to be a couple hundred people sitting in a room that are business leaders in Texarkana today that are going to see this. What would you like to tell the business community today in Texarkana?
Oh, thanks, guys. I've had a wonderful run there. My dad drove an RC Cola truck, and I was able to get a decent education with a little football scholarship that I thought was big at Texarkana College. And from there, I was able to go to Lamar. And education gave me my break and will always be indebted. Everybody in my family has had some exposure to Texarkana College, and it's been terrific. A&M is now terrific. You've got all the educational tools. And if it, to look back, it's probably my life changed with education. And so keep it up, keep it going. It's the lifeblood, it's the ladder out. And for lower income, a lot of pressure on lower income to make a living. That's directly related to educational level. So glad to have been a part, still a part. And thanks for asking me what I care. It doesn't happen too often anymore.
Thank you, Mr. Arnold.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.